Welcome to this special edition of Daily Pulse, where we keep your finger on the pulse of the latest breaking news and the news they're keeping from you. I'm your host, Maria Zeee. A quick reminder to head on over to free speech platform Rumble to watch our full show. If you're not subscribed to our channel yet, do so right now to catch our no-holds-barred reporting brought to you by the Vigilant Fox and Zeee Media. We're seeing a lot of people are asking, what are all of these data centers actually for? I mean, how much computing power do you really need for what is by large used by regular people as just a better Google search engine and to create cat memes? Something we haven't heard a lot of people address is the topic of digital twins. It's been a while since we covered it, and we think it answers at least in part what many of these data centers are going to be used for. So buckle up for this dystopian nightmare. We'll dive right in after a quick word from one of the sponsors who make our independent reporting possible. History shows a consistent pattern. When money can be created without limits, or when companies issue more shares and dilute ownership, purchasing power almost always goes one way: down. That's the system most people are in today, and it's why many families are turning to gold and silver, assets with limited supply that have historically held their value. The question most Americans have is how to transition away from declining dollars. And that's where Genesis Gold Group comes in. They've helped thousands of families move a portion of their savings into physical gold and silver through structured strategies, including converting existing retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks into precious metal IRAs. Rated 4.7 out of 5 stars by faithful investors, Genesis Gold offers a straightforward, personalized process designed to align with each individual's long-term financial goals. Right now, they're offering a free wealth protection guide that walks you through gold and silver investing options step by step. You can get it now at dailypulsesilver.com. That's dailypulsesilver.com. Those who are familiar with the work of Zeee Media would know that we have for many years been aiming to educate the public on the end game of the technocracy agenda. And we certainly have been doing that on this broadcast as well. But one particular topic we haven't covered on the Daily Pulse is digital twins. And we think that with all of these data centers now being in the news cycle and so aggressively popping up all over the world, it's well worthwhile revisiting this topic of digital twins. I think throughout the entire time that I've been doing this role, it has become clear to me that a lot of people really struggle to understand the end game. They sort of maybe grasp aspects of the control grid and some of Agenda 2030. Maybe they know about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and how that is a motivating factor, or at least a blueprint that they use to achieve so many of these goals. Maybe they don't necessarily think that those things matter as much anymore, especially with this current administration in the US seemingly not so friendly to the UN, although there's still a lot of collaboration going on there, I can assure you. But these sort of topics, including the Sustainable Development Goals, have really taken a back seat over the past year. And part of the reason for that is because they were using climate change as the reason to accelerate these SDGs, aka Agenda 2030. And then when the need for data centers came about, all of a sudden no one cares about climate change. You'll notice that even the greatest proponents of the climate change narrative, your Al Gores and such, aren't really screaming from the rooftops about data centers, which, if they truly believed in climate change, would be one of the most destructive things to the climate, right? All of the various environmental impacts, the amount of energy that they need. They want you to reduce your showers, but they want these data centers to use the entirety of a city's power capacity, the equivalent of an entire city's power usage. I mean, it's really, really crazy. And so my point in explaining all of this is really to say that perhaps people understand some aspects of that, perhaps some of these things slip their minds or they go into the back of their minds. But for those of us who've studied this for many, many years, it really is always at the forefront of our minds, because in studying all of these various documents and publications and white papers that these self-proclaimed elites publish and speak about quite openly, actually, we see what sort of future they're trying to shape and what they want to form. And Zeee Media has, for many, many years, been trying to really articulate that vision to the people. Now, we're not saying they'll necessarily achieve all of these elements of their desired goals. We think that human resistance plays a huge role in this. Nonetheless, in order to resist something, you have to understand what it is. And we've seen a lot of people asking, it really doesn't make sense about these data centers. Why so many? What do you need all of this computing power for? People have a general sense that this is about control and this is about AI surveillance. And we thought we'd take you through some of those sentiments on social media. So here are just a few of the comments that you can find on social media. Does no one else see where all this government SHITE is leading to? Think about why 100% control, mass AI surveillance, 15-minute cities, hour imprisonment. These numbers are almost doubled in some states. Number of data centers proposed for each state. I actually think that it's a lot more than this. And a lot of this is really hidden from the public as well. I can see there, it looks like Texas, it says about 200 in there. It's quite blurry. It's actually over 400. So yes, most of these numbers are actually doubled. Then we go to this person who says everyone got played. These massive data centers that are mostly located in water-stressed areas of the US will be dedicated to the sprawling surveillance apparatus they are currently building, so we can all be permanently held hostage in this hellscape. Another person says, I basically agree with everything you said, but the other argument I'd hammer on is the genuinely sinister ulterior motives that are behind the unprecedented surge by tech elites to construct data centers that have zero benefit for actual Americans. It goes far beyond greed. No one gives a beep about other countries' AI data centers. The only reason they're going up is for absolute control over humanity, smart cities, digital money, and surveillance of every breath we take. We already have thousands of data centers that meet our needs. So it seems that at least some people out there understand the massive control grid that this is bringing, the surveillance grid. And we think that a lot of people understand that that comes with social credit systems, CBDCs, tracking your every move. But one of the questions, or one of the topics rather, that often goes unaddressed is exactly how they will achieve that. And of course, there are many aspects to this, but one of the key things is digital twins. Before we get into digital twins, we want to show you this announcement from the Energy Department. This is energy.gov. You can see Energy Department launches Genesis mission to transform American science and innovation through the AI computing revolution. This was released on November 24th of 2025. It follows President Trump issuing an executive order to launch the Genesis mission. Mind you, I will just comment on how dystopian that name in itself is, suggesting that we are recreating humanity. Of course, Genesis is the story of creation. And so if you're launching a Genesis mission, you're talking about a recreation of sorts. It goes on that this historic national effort will be led by the Department of Energy. And there is a reason for that. It has to do, obviously, with computing power and the energy required for it. And it does actually say here that this is going to harness the current AI and advanced computing revolution to double the productivity and impact of American science and engineering within a decade. It will deliver decisive breakthroughs to secure American energy dominance, accelerate scientific discovery, and strengthen national security. This is the part we really wanted to highlight here, apart from all the golden age talk. It says here, the platform will connect the world's best supercomputers, AI systems, and next generation quantum systems with the most advanced scientific instruments in the nation. Once complete, the platform will be the world's most complex and powerful scientific instrument ever built. It will draw on the expertise of roughly 40,000 Department of Energy scientists, engineers, and technical staff, alongside private sector innovators, to ensure that the United States leads and builds the technologies that will define the future. And they say that this is going to help with American energy dominance, advancing discovery science, and ensuring national security. Well, we have a problem as far as energy dominance goes because of how much energy these data centers need. How much science is it actually going to advance? Well, it depends on who's programming the AIs, we guess. And ensuring national security, that's exactly how we recently discussed how they are saying they need these data centers because they're military operations. Therefore, people can't actually oppose them going up in their local communities. It becomes a NatSec discussion. And we dare say that people that are in opposition to it might actually face some aggressive tactics being used against them if it becomes a national security issue. But the main thing that we wanted to read from there was the quantum computing aspect. There's been a lot of debate around quantum computing, whether it's far away in the future, whether they already have it. Some evidence would suggest that they've had it for a while. And, you know, the saying goes that they're usually 20, 30, sometimes even 40 years ahead in the tech that they possess versus what they actually tell us that they have. There's a public disclosure phase after they've already successfully deployed, tested, and tweaked the technology before we actually get access to it or even know about it. So do they already have quantum computing? It's possible. You only need to look to CERN, for example, to know that they've been through their White Rabbit technology, practicing synchronization of real-time data. It's actually very important in the AI conversation. We've reported on White Rabbit before. You would recall there was an eclipse that happened in Texas a couple of years ago, and CERN, who is responsible for the Large Hadron Collider, trying to recreate the Big Bang and things of this nature, was running a White Rabbit synchronization exercise at that time. And the purpose of that exercise was actually to make sure that external factors such as a solar eclipse or other environmental factors, for example, would not actually impact their ability to be able to have this real-time synchronization. And the interesting aspect to that White Rabbit synchronization exercise was that major telcos from around the world, including Australia, were participating in that synchronization exercise, as was reported by CERN at the time. So again, you have major telcos making sure that CERN still has their real-time quantum monitoring that is not impacted by something like a solar eclipse. That was 2 years ago. So you can only imagine how much further they are with some of these technologies now. Why does quantum computing matter, and why does this seemingly irrelevant discussion about CERN matter here? Well, it matters because the topic of today is digital twins. So what are digital twins? I actually found a really great video on YouTube. I'm going to play it for you. It explains it really well in 60 seconds. Here's Bernard Ma on YouTube.
In essence, a digital twin is a digital duplicate of a physical object or a system that is used for simulation, analysis, and control. Businesses are already using digital twins for things like predictive maintenance, where engineers can monitor the digital twin of a jet engine to predict and prevent failures before they happen. In smart cities, urban planners can use digital twins to visualize and analyze the city's infrastructure, optimizing things like traffic flow. In Formula One, digital twins of race cars are revolutionizing development cycles, allowing for simulations in virtual wind tunnels and on virtual racetracks. And in healthcare, doctors can use digital twins to create virtual replicas of someone's organ, to predict how they would react to different treatments, tailoring therapies just so they are right for them. We're only just at the beginning of this revolutionary technology.
So that all seems very helpful, creating a digital version of things that exist in the real world, maybe urban planning, see how things are going to actually look before you build them. Seems like a really, really great tool. And of course, as with all technology, it can be a very great and helpful tool. But what about when this becomes more sinister, or when it's used by sinister people? And where do they really want to take this digital twin model? Like, how far do they want to take it in terms of surveillance and control? The gentleman we played you before did say the word control, although didn't really dig further into the methods of control that it might be used for. Now, according to the documents that we've studied and read, including your biodigital convergence, your remaking the world towards an age of global enlightenment, we're going to link those in the description. Again, very, very informative reports. Where they want to take this is essentially a world where you exist in your everyday life, but your actual lived experience will be online, maybe even through the use of a digital twin rather than yourself. Think of like a virtual reality world overlaying the real world. And they even go so far, some of these futurists, to discuss a reality where you will not be able to travel. And so you will have to have your mother visit you through a hologram in your lounge room, and you'll hug your mum, and you will feel as though you've actually hugged a human being, because the nanotechnology inside of you will duplicate that biological response. Even though it's not a real biological response, you'll have the sensation as if you really were touching your mother's skin as you were hugging her. This is kind of the future that they describe. There's also the surveillance element and the fact that they want to know what we're up to 24 hours a day at all times of the day. And they want access to a digital twin that exists in the AI control hub, if you will, that is basically replicating what is going on every inch of Earth at all times of the day in real time, and therefore then assessing that, being able to predictively police and maybe even socially engineer. And that's where we get into the social digital twin discussion. Now, I realize I've gone very far down the line for some people, but I trust our audience is intelligent enough to follow along with this. Something that we found that was very interesting was Fujitsu actually talking about social digital twins and how it was going to be used in society, or how their tech was going to be used in society. We actually found that Fujitsu partnered with many governments for this tech. And so we want to play you a quick video of Fujitsu talking about a social digital twin.
Fujitsu Technology Innovation. I am Savas Makariou, a researcher at Fujitsu. I would like to introduce you to our social digital twin technology.
Fujitsu's mission is to create technologies that benefit society. The social digital twin, SDT, is an important new class of technology that contributes to digital transformation. When integrated with advanced models of human behavior, it enables us to achieve important new advances. The SDT significantly extends the digital twin concept. Digital twins reproduce the physical world as virtual models, synchronizing the two in real time. Until now, they have usually been limited to individuals in a single organization, unlike our complex interconnected world. The SDT creates a digital twin of these large-scale systems, making huge volumes of sensor data available to linked models from different disciplines, such as traffic, weather, social, and behavior. It aims to understand emergent behavior, where simple interaction rules result in large-scale behaviors. The SDT enables digital rehearsals, testing and optimizing actions in the virtual world before applying the best options to the physical world. SDT can aid CO2 reduction by incentivizing travelers to avoid pollution hotspots through dynamic charging for roads and public transport. For emergency situations, a combination of the IoT and digital rehearsal can maintain awareness in fast-changing situations and adapt the responses in real time. In the future, we can even apply the SDT to social and economic policymaking, taking into account people, processes, and infrastructure. Fujitsu is working with government agencies and academia to develop models and create testbeds as part of our multidisciplinary SDT research program. Building on our existing research to apply stateful processing to large-scale streaming data. coordinating models from different disciplines and assimilation, and smoothly integrating new data. Simulation, AI, and advances in social sciences are key to creating new solutions for the benefit of society. Fujitsu's SDT research is contributing to trusted technologies for a more sustainable society.
So as you can see there, that's pretty benign, right? Fujitsu is doing something that a lot of people would consider really great. They're providing governments and maybe other private partners technology that can help them plan for natural disasters, better, simulate real world events to help the people. And we're certainly, we want to be clear, not attributing Fujitsu or their role to this broader agenda that we're discussing here. Their intentions may very well be pure and good, even though we completely disagree with the notion that we need to reduce CO2 in the planet, and many people would argue that we actually need more of it. That's a totally different subject. So we want to separate that company and their efforts from the broader agenda. But what we do want to do is paint a picture of how that type of surveillance, meaning sensors and real-time data of what populations are doing, human behavior, human sentiments and attitudes, may be used against us beyond just the noble effort of helping populations escape natural disasters and helping them decongest their traffic. Now, we did have a look at similar technologies or other notable activities that are similar to what we just watched here. We have Singapore at a national level, and I'm just reading off some notes that I've taken here. They have Virtual Singapore, one of the most advanced national scale digital twins. It integrates real-time data on buildings, infrastructure, population movements, and urban systems for scenario testing, planning, and operations. And it supports policy simulation, traffic management, sustainability, and citizen, quote unquote, quality of life improvements. Now, again, some people could argue that this is a really good thing. We're going to make the city more efficient. We're going to save a lot of traffic time, and there's going to be a quality of life improvement. But the question that we're asking is, why do they need all these data centers, and what are they actually going to do with all of this compute power? And is it always going to be about improving the quality of life of citizens, or is it going to be about corralling them into 15-minute cities? And C40 cities are absolutely involved in the data centers, by the way. Or is it about corralling them into 15-minute cities where they can't blink without having the eye of Sauron at their door saying, what are you doing blinking the wrong way, or whatever the case may be? You also have China, multiple cities, national push, extensive rollout of digital twin cities, including Shanghai, hyper-realistic model with live surveillance feeds for police, emergency response, and many other cities. These are often simulating traffic risks, infrastructure, and strong government oversight for quote-unquote public safety planning and smart city control. You have it in Japan, in Tokyo as well. The Metropolitan Government's Digital Twin Project creates detailed 3D models with real-time data on the city, including pedestrian flows, and they use it for policy simulation as well. Then you have European Union cities, Rotterdam in Netherlands, Bologna in Italy, Helsinki in Finland, many other EU efforts as well, Munich, Flanders region, Duet project cities. They are all emphasizing the need to do this, to have these digital twins. In the United States, we have city-level pilots, including Chattanooga, Orlando, Boston, and those are just a few that we're listing off here. In the UK, you have investments like the Digital Twins Centre and City Regional Projects, e.g. Isle of Wight pilots, and broader trends. And this is what some of our search results returned. 15-minute cities, climate goals, and resilience are what a lot of these digital twin governments are focused on. So the whole climate agenda and the CO2 reduction and all of that hasn't actually gone anywhere. It's just not in your face all the time anymore. And they're not talking about it because, of course, they want to bring the data centers. History shows a consistent pattern. When money can be created without limits, or when companies issue more shares and dilute ownership, purchasing power almost always goes one way, down. That's the system most people are in today, and it's why many families are turning to gold and silver, assets with limited supply that have historically held their value. The question most Americans have is how to transition away from declining dollars. And that's where Genesis Gold Group comes in. They've helped thousands of families move a portion of their savings into physical gold and silver through structured strategies, including converting existing retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks into precious metal IRAs. Rated 4.7 out of 5 stars by faithful investors, Genesis Gold offers a straightforward, personalized process designed to align with each individual's long-term financial goals. Right now, they're offering a free wealth protection guide that walks you through gold and silver investing options step by step. You can get it now at dailypulsesilver.com. That's dailypulsesilver.com. The EU funds related initiatives such as Destination Earth for planetary scale twins. Okay. And they also discuss participation and equity concerns, including the digital divide, as part of their common discussion points. So this is all often framed around efficiency and sustainability, but obviously we have the very serious problem of centralized control and what sort of power this is going to give governments. How are they actually going to use this, even though those that are contributing to the technology may have completely honest and honorable intentions? What does it look like when it gets into the hands of tyrants or the technocratic big corporations like your Palantirs? What does it look like when it gets into their hands, and what are they going to do with that data? I wanted to play everyone this clip. This was posted by Fortune magazine. The Qualcomm CEO, Cristiano Amon, sat down with Fortune to explain why he sees 6G as the wireless network built for the AI era. He says that 6G is going to create a digital twin of the entire world. Take a listen.
Every car, every bus, every bicycle, every pedestrian, everything is moving. So another thing that 6G is going to do, not only at your neighborhood, not only at the city, at the state, but at the entire country level, will map the digital twin, I think, of the world. In today's, I think, environment, if I say that, everybody will understand it. Like you can do drone detection. You know, everything that is moving is going to be tracked. You have a radar at scale. You can manage the entire future aerial economy. We also look at maps and you see, is there congestion here? Is it green? Is it yellow? Is red? With 6G, you'll be able to map every car, every bus, every bicycle, every pedestrian, everything is moving. What are the roads? Everything around you. You'll be able to use AI to refine and detect different objects. You're going to create a digital twin of the entire world. And that's going to be very, very important data for agents as we continue to evolve how we think about computing. So 6G is a big transformation. You probably saw I'm very excited about it.
Every car, every bus, every pedestrian, we will map out entire cities, countries, and the whole world using 6G. So some people are obviously speculating that this has already been done. A lot of people have said that 6G isn't even required. They already have the technology that they need for this. 6G or even 5G is more like a weapons system rather than a technology that speeds up your internet. We're not going to get into that discussion right now. We're just highlighting the fact that these people are talking about being able to, and they present it in a positive light and the benefits that it's going to have for society, being able to in real time be monitoring absolutely anything that moves within the entire world. Then you have to add in the layer of what the AI is going to be assessing those movements as. Number one, first and foremost, who programmed the AI and what are their beliefs and their objectives? And as we've discussed many times on this broadcast, those in Silicon Valley actually follow an occult religion very ancient occultic practices. Some of them genuinely believe, whether you believe this or not, this is their religion. They believe that they are actually going to bring demons forth into this world using AI. So you have to consider the religious beliefs of these people in Silicon Valley when you consider how they will actually use this technology. You must understand the ideology of someone to understand where they want to take something. How many times do we as a society buy products because we associate with the values of those companies? Whatever those values may be, left, right, center, it doesn't really matter. People flock to brands because they believe in their values, because it actually means something. The belief systems of people that are creating products or giving services actually matter. We often consider these things. And yet, for some reason, when it comes to Silicon Valley, people totally ignore their ideology and their belief systems. Why? These people are creating the technology that is going to be monitoring everything on Earth that moves. Maybe we should pay attention to their belief systems. There was a TED talk that was given a little while ago by a gentleman named Dirk Helbing. It was about 4 years ago that he gave this TED talk, and he is a professor of computational social science at the Department of Humanities, Social and Political Sciences of ETH Zurich, and an affiliate of its computer science department. And in that talk, he was discussing, basically what governments and big tech corporations, and perhaps all of them together, what sort of capabilities they will have when it comes to the human digital twins. So when you're talking about being able to monitor absolutely anything that moves on Earth, and you're also combined with that talking about socially, potentially engineering societies for better outcomes, which they do, you also need to consider what they're doing with the individual digital twins. What is that individual digital twin? Well, it's formed of many things, just like your digital ID is. It's your online activity. It's the websites you visit. It's the reels that you look at. It's all of these platforms talking to one another, feeding it into what many think is a central AI hive mind, if you will, or at least that's where they want to take it, that is forming a profile of you and a digital version of you where you can be your innermost thoughts, your behaviors, even the things that you say. You may be completely silent around your phone, and yet someone else has a phone that is then feeding that data back to AI that is processing all of it. Yes, we are in that sort of dystopia. You have AI through Wi-Fi being able to assess what's going on in a room, for goodness sake. So to think that they don't have these capabilities already is really naive, if you ask me. And so that you have your digital twin, a digital version of you that they know pretty much everything about, including your habits, your likes, your dislikes, things that motivate you. You know, maybe you see a reel and you get an emotional response and you comment or you like it, or you watch a reel and then you talk to someone in the room about it, and your phone is tracking all of that, and it's being fed somewhere because data is the new gold. And so basically this TED talk, and you can watch the whole thing, it's called Who is Messing with Your Digital Twin? Body, Mind and Soul for Sale, Dirk Helbing on a TED talk. And the whole thing is talking about, you know, what this means for democracy, how this could be used against us. And then it goes into he starts to talk about nanotechnology and even mind control. So let's take a listen to what Dirk says here.
How does it work? Basically, engineers are working now to build a wireless body area network and an internet of bio-nanothings. So our bodies are being exposed to nanoparticles. These are minute particles, much smaller than the diameter of a hair, which are absorbed by cells of our body and can be used to read out data and also to manipulate processes in the body. You've certainly heard about Elon Musk's Neuralink project. He wants to implant computer chips into people's brains and connect them with supercomputers to create superhumans. Actually, I think that's outdated technology. In the meantime, scientists are working on nano tools for brain activity mapping, and this is going to be a billion-dollar business. They're trying to do human brain indexing, including your brain. And why are they doing it? Because surveillance capitalism knows where you are, what you do, what you think, what you buy, but they want to be able to control what you think, what you feel, what you do, how you behave. And this is what neurocapitalism would be about. So we're heading towards brain reading technology. We're heading towards mind control, and the law is not ready to protect us.
Pretty scary stuff, right? Neurocapitalism. They want a central AI hive mind. They want it under the control of a few corporations that are really probably, all working together, or really controlled by a very, very select few at the top that have complete control over humanity, including our innermost thoughts, in order to be able to manipulate us. And this is actually something the Rand Corporation, we've referenced this quite a few times before in one of their documents. They say being able to coerce human beings to do things they would not normally be able to, not normally want to do. It's a really, really sinister dystopian view of how far they want to take this. And Dirk actually references a sci-fi novel, where, if you want to consider how far they want to take this, and I think he articulates it pretty well. Take a listen.
If you want to get an idea how far that could go, then you could read that science fiction novel. With 1 trillion sensors feeding data into a central computer, unleashed into the world, governments, militaries, mega corporations, dictators, and even hackers will be able to hear the heartbeat of the earth. And your heartbeat too.
Now, like most reasonable people, I'm not against technology. I'm all for it. I'm for it being used for good. But there are risks to all of this, and risks to the powers that be. So the question remains, how many data centers would they actually need to achieve this level that Dirk is warning about, to the point where we get to like mind control and an AI hive mind, which is where they want to take it, by the way. So I asked Grok, actually. I did a little search and I said, realistically, considering the computing power of, say, the Project Matador data center, how many of these types of data centers would be required to achieve the types of control or surveillance of the entire world's population described in that YouTube video, for example? So a ballpark answer that Grok has given me, listen to this. Dozens to low hundreds of Matador scale, so 11 gigawatt facilities, could theoretically support advanced global scale social surveillance digital twin systems if the goal were high fidelity continuous modeling of the world's population. It says one Matador has enough raw power for massive country level or multi-hundred million person agent simulations with heavy AI efficiency. Grok went on to say 20 to 100 plus such campuses could handle planet scale predictive modeling, what if policy testing, behavioral nudging, and real-time tracking, especially when combined with edge devices, quantum elements, and selective high-fidelity twins for key/individual groups. Interesting. So that is an AI agent telling us that really you would just need dozens to low hundreds of that size facility we just reported on this week to achieve massive country level or even global level with just over 100 plus of these facilities. So it kind of makes sense then that we're getting thousands upon thousands of these data centers across the world. But the reality is, if we're talking about even hundreds of these data centers being able to achieve that type of global surveillance, what are the other thousands for? I mean, how much of this computing power do they really need? How advanced is this global surveillance system going to be? Obviously, we're talking about linking every single transaction, monitoring it in real time, linking it to a person through their identification, every single purchase, every single post, presumably every single action done on the internet and outside of the internet. And we're saying that 100 of Matador size or 100 plus Matador size data centers would be able to track all of that, creating digital twins and even behavioral nudging, that would be enough. So how far does this actually go with thousands of data centers? Obviously, they're not all the size of Matador, but we are talking about thousands of data centers, and a very, very interesting announcement happened just this week. Wall Street Apes says a new startup company will put mini data centers on the side of residential homes all over America. Companies NVIDIA and Pulte Group are partnering with S-Span, a major US home builder, is now making small fractional data centers, or they call them nodes, that can be put on the side of residential homes. These could negate the need to build as many hyperscale and AI cloud providers. Just tap into the node network like a regular data center. Now S-Span collaborated with NVIDIA using its technology in the system. Span claims it can install 8,000 of these units, about 6 times faster and at 5 times lower cost than the construction of a typical centralized 100 megawatt data center of the same size. In return for letting this company put a mini data center on the side of your home, you'll get a $150 credit on your electricity bill. In some locations, you could get free electricity and internet. Let's listen to this report.
Well, Andrew, it's an unlikely partnership. Span, which is a small startup that makes smart home electrical panels, is teaming up with NVIDIA and Pulte Group, a major U.S. home builder. Span is now making small fractional data centers, or they call them nodes, that can be put on the side of residential homes. The idea is to take advantage of unused electrical capacity on local grids, which the Span smart panels can find. Now, a network of these nodes talking to each other across the country is about the equivalent of a mid-sized traditional data center. So these could negate the need to build as many. Hyperscalers and AI cloud providers just tap into the node network like a regular data center. Now, Span collaborated with NVIDIA using its technology in the system. Span claims it can install 8,000 of these units about 6 times faster and at 5 times lower cost than the construction of a typical centralized 100 megawatt data center of the same size. Now, Pulte Homes is in the early testing phase with these systems, which they have already deployed in a handful of communities. Now, why would a homeowner want this? Well, because they would just have to pay one flat fee for electrical and Wi-Fi, which Span said would be roughly $150 total. So a lot less than everybody's normal electric bill. So for much more on this story, as well as my latest podcast with the CEO of a company that is deploying $100 million to put home closings on the blockchain, it is all in this week's Property Play newsletter.
So I'm not sure if there's something that Wall Street Apes discovered outside of that report, or if it was just a misinterpretation of that report. The post reads that you'll get a credit on your electricity bill for $150. From what she was saying is that no, it actually only costs you $150. So you just have to, instead of seeing your electricity bill rise from these mega data centers, which they're still going to keep doing, by the way, you just need to actually pay us to install this device on the outside of your house. There is no real explanation as to what the health impacts will be of installing this device. I hope they've covered it. We already know about the potential harmful EMF that comes out of data centers. I don't know what the case is with this. I wonder whether people are getting the information about those things when they're going and getting these mini data centers on the outside of their homes. So the point here is that, and again, we're not taking Grok for its word, but this is just what an AI has calculated. A lot of people are asking the question, well, how much of this do we really need? And so let's ask an AI. So not taking Grok at its word. But if you're talking about needing, say, 100 of these mega data centers like Project Matador, The reality of being able to build those in the time that you need in the middle of a global energy crisis, probably not very likely. And so this is one solution that they're giving us. Needless to say, this report says it would negate the need to build as many. Well, what do we need to build them for at all? Because no one has actually explained to us what the benefit of this is going to be. Why do we need to build them at all? Why do we need so many data centers? I haven't seen anyone really delve into the digital twin aspect of this, what it's actually going to enable governments and tyrants to do to us. Yeah, sure, maybe they'll prevent natural disasters, or maybe they'll cause them, like many say they did in North Carolina for the lithium, which, by the way, has now come out that there's all this lithium in that area, something the conspiracy theorists were saying at the time. So is this actually going to be used for good for humanity, or is it going to actually be what the conspiracy theorists have been saying the whole time, which is a mass surveillance to levels, or at levels rather, that dictators of the past have only dreamed of, as Yuval Noah Harari says? None of this is actually good for us. Again, there may be some efficiency, there may be some benefits to it. Personally, I think that if you're uploading a picture of your rash to ChatGPT and asking it to diagnose you, yes, that's a real story someone told me. I think that's mad. I think that's legitimately mad. I don't think that we should be trusting computers who get things wrong a lot. It's like trying to trust Google to diagnose you, right? We shouldn't be trusting these systems with our health, with our bodily autonomy, with our anything, really. There are some simple tasks that you can get it to perform, help you with research, help you with these sorts of things. But handing over any form of autonomy or critical thinking or thought at all, not having independent thought while we're using these tools, not thinking of what the implications could be in future for us, as well as the implications of the control that the tyrants will have over us, is just dangerous. And on top of that, another argument that needs to be made here is we are in a global energy crisis, real or manufactured. It is happening. And we're still going to go ahead and build all these data centers. It is madness. And again, no one has been able to truly describe the benefits to us other than we're in this AI race and we need to win. And when you dig a little bit deeper and you have a look at some of these technologies and capabilities that technocrats will have, none of this is actually positive for anyone but them. So we hope that this has served as educational. We hope that people will look further into digital twins. Again, this doesn't completely answer the question that we asked at the start, which is what do they need all of these data centers for? But certainly it explains part of it. And we hope we've done a good job at helping people understand that today. Are you protected in a world where threats of EMPs, solar flares, 5G, and all types of EMF are interfering with our very existence? Escape the grid with Escape Zone, bringing you the highest quality Faraday technology for ultimate preparedness. Choose when and where your devices are detectable. Faraday bags protect you from EMPs, car theft, card and device skimming, identity theft, tracking, Bluetooth, and GPS. Choose from premium mobile Faraday bags, crossbody bags, laptop bags, and even women's handbags, or opt for the optimum protection with a ballistic backpack, combining cutting-edge Faraday technology with a ballistic 3A Kevlar for the ultimate protection and preparedness. Now you can also protect from EMF with their top-notch EMF beanies and blankets, shielding you from some of the most harmful frequencies in our environment. Whatever your needs are, Escape Zone has you covered, and their range is perfect for personal use, family use, or even as a gift for someone you truly care about. Visit escapezone.com/pulse and protect you and your loved ones today. That's escapezone.com/pulse. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. We hope you found that informative, and we hope it also gives you some arsenal or at least some motivation when you're going into your local community meetings, fighting back against these mega data centers or any data centers at all, really considering all of the various impacts that they're going to have on your local community. Why do they want to come to where you live? Why do they want your resources? Well, we think we've answered that in part, but either way, when you know the full picture or the end game, it really does give you a better understanding of where this is going to go, how far they want to take this, and perhaps even the people that are approving these data centers don't fully understand. So when you do, you're able to teach them as well. If you appreciate our independent reporting, please make sure to follow us on Rumble. Zeee Media is the channel. Give us your thoughts in the comments, like the video, it really helps us out, and also share it with people, by the way. Our whole goal here is to educate people on what this is all really about in the end game. And the more people know, the better off we are as a society. If you want to support our independent journalism, please make sure to support our sponsors. All of their links are in the description below. We think you'll find we've partnered with businesses that are actually helping humanity, and your support for them means you're also supporting us. So go ahead and visit them in the description below. We will see you on Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Good night.